Hey, hello world, hello all flavors world. How are you all doing out there? You're listening to the Let's Talk Drive Time show with I'm Wimbo77.
And I'm Naturally Lily. Good evening, everybody.
Yes, great to have you on board. And it's the new year, 2021, and the day is the 5th of January.
Yeah.
We had to have that big breath there, didn't we, Lily?
We did.
Because the world is still going crazy.
Oh, goodness
it's
gracious.
still going mad.
Yeah.
And life continues, the world continues to turn. But there's twists and turns living here on this planet right about now. And we'll go into looking at certain things, how we're going to be affected even more in 2021 as regards to that horrible C word.
Yeah.
Right? So how was your day today?
I don't know.
You don't know how your day was?
That's my politically correct answer. How was my day today? It was okay. Back in the office. I'm indifferent to it, how I feel about it. But yeah, back on the grind. Holiday season is over now, so
And back to it regardless regardless of what the guidelines are saying. I think a lot of people are kind of pushing against that and just getting on with things regardless,
definitely.
And that's what makes for a bit of controversy, really, because they tell us one thing, but maybe not us personally, but everyone else kind of does something.
There's too many loopholes,
different.
I think.
Yeah.
I think when someone makes a statement, like the statement work from home, for example, people can find loopholes. Management can find loopholes.
Right.
So whichever way you want to look at it, depending on what type of job you do, yeah.
Well, it is what it is,
Yeah.
and we just act accordingly.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
So we have a lot to be getting on with tonight, but we have a couple of questions for you. Which is the first question is, do you make New Year's resolutions? Now we did run a competition last week, but we didn't really get anyone come in and give us the answer correctly. So sadly, no one won last week, but we will be running various competitions and so forth. So keep your ear to the ground because we might even put one on today. Yeah, can win some nice goodies. So the first question to you today, beautiful people, is: do you make New Year's resolutions? And if you do you keep them? All right. So Lily, what we jumping into now?
Young lawyer says being without man is boring.
Oh wow, you're going right for the jugular.
I am. I thought this was such a it's kind of a controversial statement. It's a comical statement. It's a what do you think about that kind of statement?
Right, because
for the feminists among us, that burns inside to hear that. What do you mean it's boring without a man? You're a woman, you're an independent woman. She's a lawyer.
Yeah.
So she's she doesn't need a man. She's quite self-sufficient.
Yeah.
A modern day woman, as you will. So many will say, well, you've made it. Why on earth do you think life is boring without a man? How can you even think about making that statement?
I think we kind of touched on this topic a while ago, didn't we? As to regards to a woman needing a man kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Now, so yeah, she's very well adjusted. She's what's the word? Confident. She's independent. She's got her job. But there are some things that you do need a man for.
Yeah, because she said, what did she say? Oh, where's the comment? She stated that although she's highly accomplished in life, life is so boring for her without a man.
Right.
And it says that this post that she's putting online, stating that it doesn't matter how successful a woman is, she can still yearn, for example, have that need, that it's caused a lot of kind of controversy between, other people that are online.
I don't see why it would though, because at the end of the day, you like or you need what you need or you want what you want.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are a lot of feminists, I guess, in that sense, but the world's a very, very different world, and you can't stop a person for wanting or needing what they feel that they want in their life.
But I think what the point that was made was that the feminists were saying that men or marriage is not necessary. You don't need them. It's not a factor that is needed to make a woman feel complete. And I think that's such, here we say this is our opinion, we don't generalise, blah, blah, blah. I think that is such a general statement to make, that you don't need a man to complete you. Well, okay, maybe you think like that, but I do think that the feminist approach has, we were speaking about how certain men don't say things out loud because they'll be laughed at. I think that that's also on the flip side when it comes to females sometimes. Like, you don't want to seem weak by saying, oh, I need my man, or, you want
Are you weak if you say that? Are you weak if you say I need my man?
But it's one of those things where you don't want to feel like you don't want to put yourself in a vulnerable, needy,
reliant,
kind of position.
Because at the end of the day, I think I can't remember the word, dependency.
Yeah,
there's a word, dependency. If you've got someone and that you depend on that person. I mean, she's not saying that she's depending on anyone. She just says that she would like a male figure in her life. And when it comes, I guess, to feminism now, they're totally the opposite end of the scale, aren't they? They feel, no, women should be doing it all. We don't need a man to do anything for us. We're quite self-sufficient. But, in her sense, she is successful.
Yeah.
But that's what she wants, and you can't question her in why should she not make such a statement?
Do you know why else it made me laugh? Because I was watching TikToks the other day, and there's a girl on there that I follow, and she's a very, very independent woman. Like, she's pro woman, and even she said in her post the other day, I'm done with it. I'm done with being an independent woman. Why? She said, I went to the shops, I bought boxes of flooring, and me, yes, I'm a really independent woman. There was a man there, but he watched me struggle with all of this flooring because I'm an independent woman.
Yeah, because...
And that's the atmosphere the feminists have created.
Yeah, because sometimes if a man asks, a woman might bite his head off saying, I can do this by myself. I don't need you. You don't need no man. That's not true. Because sometimes you do, right? And regardless, I mean, I could do tiling, but it's nice to have a hand.
Have a hand. Even I went to buy some paint the other day, just 2 buckets of paint, and the gentleman that was serving me at the till was like, oh, you shouldn't be carrying all this, don't you have a strong someone to help you out? And in my head I just laughed, because I thought, yes, I should have someone that should be carrying these buckets for me. I do, but they were at home looking after children. But it's just the fact that there are certain things, yes, we can do it by ourselves, and no one is saying that you shouldn't, no one's saying there's anything wrong with you wanting to do it by yourself, but on the other hand, it's nice to have someone carry your bags.
Yeah, you know me.
Yes.
I'm sorry. The other day, well, it was a while ago, we went in the shop and I handed you the bag because I'm just...
No, you did not hand me the bag. Listeners, she did not hand me the bag. You paid the person at the till, they put the bag on the side, and you walked off. And I was like, oh yeah, mummy doesn't carry bags.
It's crazy.
It's habit though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's habit.
Yeah, but and it's nice when I'm walking with my gentleman, my husband, and we're walking down the road and he's always on the side. I notice he changes, we're on the most dangerous side of the road, and that is an old tradition. But it's just nice to, even that, gentlemen, are there any gentlemen left out there? There's another question out there to you beautiful people. Are there any gentlemen left in this world due to feminism? Do the men just think, oh, let the women just get on with it? Because it is a twofold kind of...
two-way thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think because there have been so much... because there has been so much feminism talk and women are independent and women should do it on their own, it's like you said, some men just think, I don't want to have my head bitten off, so they just don't ask.
Jones XO says here she should have asked for help. Closed mouths don't get fed.
This is very true. Thank you. Yes, It's true.
She also said that, I don't know if Jones XO is a female.
I know who it is.
XO?
It's my cousin.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it says you only need the men to have children.
You only need men to... Yeah, that's the need.
Yeah.
That's the need. That's not the want. I agree with
Okay.
that. I do agree with that. Because you do need men to reproduce.
Yeah, yeah.
It's whether you want them there is the next thing.
Because as was said before, I think previously on a show that we did, it says that there are things such as test tubes.
Yeah.
You can go and have all that stuff done without the man being present, but we do still need the man's sperm in order to procreate and make children, or create children, should we say. So Joy says, this is not the year to get everything you want. This is the year to appreciate everything you have. That's lovely. I like that.
True.
I like that.
That's
but
very
if you ain't
true.
got a man, you can't appreciate him because he ain't there.
Hence, she
Right.
says, it's boring without a man.
Yeah. But is it boring? What about having friends? Can
But
they
what
not
if-
kind of...
But what
you
if
know-
all your friends are coupled up?
That's true.
Because I know there was a period of time that we had when there was quite a few couples, and one of my friends wasn't in a couple, and they used to feel awkward.
Right.
I don't really want to come because it's going to be all coupley. You guys are going to be, and it does make them feel like they don't want to be involved.
But then if she's like that lawyer, if she's comfortable in herself, then that might not bother her.
It's not about being comfortable in yourself, though. I think it's just feeling like you're the third wheel.
Okay, I understand you.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just thought that was rather interesting.
Yeah, and feminism has really changed the way that people, or maybe the world, looks at women, or the Western world.
The Western world, yeah.
Because in some cultures, the women just, they do everything that traditionally women used to do many years ago. Was now the women, women from maybe third world countries, they still work and do all that stuff, but they have more of a traditional role. As a woman, man will go out to work, she'll be there doing whatever.
But I feel like the Western world is conveniently women focused, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not women focused, conveniently equal. Because when it comes to things like
It's not always equal though,
childcare,
is it?
no.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to things like childcare, like I had a conversation with someone at work today, and I was talking to them about my predicament or whatever, and they said, "Oh well, what about hubby? Can't he work something out with work?" And I'm like, "No," because they just It's happened in the past where my husband's gone and said to the manager, "Look, I need to sort this out for childcare for my children, blah blah blah," and the manager's turned around and said, "Well, where's the mum?"
Right.
It's just automatic. It's not equal.
Values, traditional thoughts.
Yeah.
And are they so traditional, or are they just man-made things that we've got along with for such a long time that they've just become ingrained, and we just take it as gospel that we should do things in this particular way?
I just think it's convenient. You know, like when you say you've got selective hearing. It's a selective equality.
Yeah, but it's not equal at all, because we looked at that the wages aren't equal.
No, yeah.
Right? Then you've just said that the childcare is not equal because it falls upon the woman all the time. And a lot of the things are falling upon the woman. But obviously we're speaking here in the sense of a woman wanting a man.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to the need. We know the need is for procreation, but the wanting and her being successful and wanting. And Jones XO says it's a different type of friendship, isn't it? It says, I don't think friends can replace the boyfriend. It's a different type of friendship.
Yes, it's very true.
Yeah, well, we know it's a different type of friendship because it goes a lot deeper than just like association. It's the intimacy, I guess. Maybe that's what she was referring to. Do you think it's the intimacy?
No, I don't. Because I think intimacy in a relationship and friendship is two different things. I think when you have close friends, like I've got bosom buddies, close friends that I've had friends for a very long time, my friendship with them is extremely close, but then my relationship with my husband is different. that friendship is very different than
Yeah.
it would be with my friends, and it's not got anything to do with the intimacy, I don't think.
But in regards to the lawyer
Yeah.
that said that, is that something perhaps that she is lacking? That's what is making her life
Maybe.
boring.
Maybe.
That she doesn't have that, because it is a connection,
Mm.
and it goes a lot deeper than just being on a sexual level.
Mm.
Because being with someone, it's you're there with them on a spiritual level, in a physical
The
level,
energy, yeah.
and an emotional level.
Yeah.
Right, so there's many. Those are the three, I guess, that you can't get all of those things. You can get maybe spiritual and emotional with friends, but not the physical. It all goes back to the love language, doesn't it?
John Sexto said it's intimacy plus friendship. Maybe that's what makes it stronger.
Yeah. So maybe that's what she's missing. Maybe the lawyer wants a man because that's what she's looking out for and that's what she wants.
Yeah. Because I think you don't lose your independence when you are in a relationship with someone. You have your thing, they have their thing, and then you have our thing. Do you know what I mean? It's the coming together of two separate people. I don't particularly like everything my husband likes. He doesn't like everything I like. Yeah, but there are some things that we both like together that we can, connect with. But it's not necessarily, that doesn't necessarily make me dependent on him because...
But that's the yin and the yang, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like opposites. You need the polarity. I was speaking to someone about this the other day, about the positive and the negative. We need that polarity to make something work. So we're not going to always like everything. It would be a bit worrying if I liked everything that my husband liked, you know, and if he liked everything that I liked. It's balance. Yeah. Because then that pushes you off balance to a degree, right? So with this lady, kudos to her, and I hope she finds what she's looking for because, no man is an island, as we say.
That's very true.
We don't, even all these philosophies and all these isms and schisms, like they're put there in place, we sometimes think, to make our lives easier, and we just put a big yoke on the back of our neck.
Yeah, it's very true.
Because this whole feminism movement, it did change a lot of the things because it brought in the fact that women can go on the pill, which was very frowned upon. So birth control was something that came in, but then along with that, a lot of other things come in with that, So it's something to think about. What are your thoughts out there? Remember, we're asking you, beautiful people, do you make New Year's resolutions? And also, does it, when it comes to wanting a man, not necessarily needing one, because we know we do need a man for procreation, but wanting a man so as not to be bored, that's another point. What does she mean about being bored, Lily?
There's many things I could think she's
okay, so we won't go down that road, but so not wanting to be bored, so wanting a man. Is there anything with wanting a man in your life? We'll see you in 5. Condolences out there to Adolfo Shabadoo, who passed away this year, or last year, 65 years. He brought us the breakdance revolution. Wow. I remember those days, it was amazing. Seeing everyone out there. It was a fad that started in New York, this whole breakdance thing. We went even to the cinema to see breakdance. There was 2 of them. Absolutely amazing. Great weight loss there, great loss. And what kind of fads did you have when you were younger, Lily? Do you remember any?
No.
No.
Not really. I just remember happy slapping. That's the only thing.
Oh no, that's when all the violence started
is it?
to go in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Hush, never mind. Oh yeah, 50p meters and all that kind of stuff as well. Life was different,
It was. I remember paying 20p on the bus.
20p
to go to school.
I've been paying 2 pence.
Goodness
my mum paid
gracious.
2 pence or something. That was probably her fare. Like, times have really changed. But going back to what we were just speaking about, Joy says that it's relationship. That's the difference of wanting a man. It's wanting that relationship with somebody. And also Ken says that some women won't see friends for months and be fine, but won't see a partner for 2 days and lose their minds. That's what James Dixon says.
That's true. That is very true.
Why did you lose your mind after 2 days of not seeing your man, woman?
Because I think when you see your friends, you're like, yeah, you're cool with your friends, but there's no there is a bit of a heart attachment there.
Yeah.
It's just a different feeling, isn't it? It's just completely different, I think.
2 days though, of not seeing them, and you're going out. Is that really true, Jones XO, that you go out of your mind for not seeing your other half for 2 days? I'll have to have a chat with you about that, really. But yeah.
But you do, because even think, I know when I've been on holiday before without my other half, after 3 days I was ready to go home.
It's fun, yeah.
Because you want to have those experiences together. Like, you know, you can go on holiday without your friends, but the other person that you share your life with, you're like, it's nice, but yeah. Yeah,
it's the sharing. So that again is it. So it's the relationship, the intimacy and friendship, and the sharing, and the caring.
Yeah,
it's nice because I know when we go away, you have a lot more fun.
Yeah,
we say what's done in Gambia or wherever you go stays in Gambia. You know, because it's like something that you kind of share together that no one else in the world knows, but just you both.
Yeah.
So I understand that. I really do get that as well. She says now women have a choice due to tech and apps, so they can choose to be whatever has sometimes there is no attachment. Oh, that's true as well.
Yeah, because I think when you find that the relationship with that person, you are attached. That's the 2 days of not going without them. That's the attachment there. It's like a jigsaw piece, isn't it? You just fit with that person, but you can also get lost in the ideals and the idea of wanting to be in a relationship with someone. And there's too much choice, I think, now with all these apps and the ability to just swipe.
But are you really... The thing is, again, I don't think we spoke about this, about finding love during lockdown, that you're not necessarily getting the person. You know, we see these nice photos of people on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and it's not necessarily the facial person that you're getting. So again, yeah, you can go shopping as if you're going shopping for people, as it were, but are you really getting what you're shopping for? Yeah,
and I think that's what John Ken means about the attachment. It's different when you're in that person's presence. When you're with someone in their presence, you actually see, feel, breathe, smell what that person is like.
Yeah.
Whereas when you are just on the opposite side of an app or on social media, you are seeing the dressed up version of them.
Yeah. Though no one's dressing up these days. It's like, you know,
it's a shame.
It's all something funny. Let me dress up to go to the bathroom, or dress up to go to the living room to watch TV or whatever, you know, because there's nothing much happening at the moment. So we're talking about women. It was a lawyer. She says that she's very successful, very accomplished, but she wants a man. But the feminists have cried out and said, what was the point that she made, that, you know, why should she want a man? Why should a woman want a man? We're asking that question. Should a woman want it? We know that she needs him for procreation, but wanting someone to be with someone. So really now we know that we have again got into lockdown, all right, and we also from January Brexit
happened. It happened and we didn't even notice.
Right. So Brexit happened. So all that smoke screen of whatever their smoke screen they were doing from last year, Brexit's come, and we have now left the EU. And along with that, there's 8 new rules, 2021, that are linked to Brexit.
Yeah.
Were you aware of that, of the 8 new rules that were linked to Brexit? Let us know. The lines are now open, 07895 134 713. That's 07895 134 713. You can text in, you can call in, or better still, come and join us in the chat room and, yes, jump in on the chat. So what's the first?
I find this freedom of movement very interesting. Freedom of movement terminates and a new immigration system initiates. I just think we have obviously clearly got no freedom of movement at the moment because we can't go anywhere. But I find this interesting. It says that the UK's freedom of movement within the EU, which used to give people the right from EU countries to live and work abroad, so they could come and work here, it ended on December the 31st. What I do find interesting is that from January, jobs offered to non-UK workers must have a skill level of RQF3 or above, which is the equivalent of an A level.
I've never heard of that RQF3 before.
It's most probably an overseas qualification.
Okay.
But I find it interesting that, not that all overseas workers come here and do this, but there's some jobs that they do, let's speak, like for example in the NHS, some jobs that they come over here and do that the British people of this country, they wouldn't do.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to start doing it, or we're going to see the backlash of not having these people there that are willing to do the jobs.
But it was shocking. As I was reading through this, the thought that come through my mind was, what was the purpose of Brexit? Because you've gotten rid of basically everything
that upholds this
system.
Yeah. But what I find quite interesting here as well, that they've got to be able to speak English and secure. So if you say someone wants to come in from the EU, they've got to have a sponsor, and that their household income needs to meet the threshold of 25,000 or the going rate for the job. Wow. But it has to be higher than that. So you've got to have a sponsor. If you know someone that wants to come from the EU, you need a sponsor, and they have to, if you're sponsoring that person, you have to be on an income of over 25,000.
Oh, I thought that's if they came here, they couldn't go for a job that's less than 25,000.
No, they've got to, it says they secure a salary from their sponsor that meets the threshold of 25.
And then they've got to pay to work here as well.
Yeah. They've got to pay to come. On a visa.
Doesn't make any sense.
So if they want to come and work here, but this is the go to work but not go to work, because I've seen that clause here. It says workers who earn less than 25,600, but no less than 20,000 can apply to work in the UK. But you've already just said there that the threshold is 25,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very confusing.
They're confused.
Okay, but if you want to come and work here from the EU as a skilled worker, it's going to cost you between £610 and £1,408 per person, unless they have skills that the UK needs more of. So, yeah, there's a full list there on the government's website on immigration rules. That's just the first law.
That's just one. The other one was about travelling, wasn't it? So
the next one is drivers to be banned.
But that's not really that's not a leaving the EU thing.
From
That's
picking
just
up
common
your mobile
sense.
phone. So you can't drive and pick up your mobile phones. That was definitely going to come into play, and you will get fined.
But when I read that, I just thought that's common sense. Let's just read this section here where it says, currently it is illegal to make and receive calls and texts while behind the wheel. Well, obviously
we don't do that anyway. Yeah.
But there is no law stopping drivers from taking photographs, playing games, or even scrolling through music playlists. Why on earth? Who is that stupid that when they're driving they're going to be playing a game on their phone?
Well,
are we serious? Is this thing serious?
Like it says, there were 637 casualties and 18 deaths. So maybe that's what they were doing.
What, from someone playing a game on their phone?
We just don't know, Lily. Obviously, that's the reason why it's there. They've put that in there, but that's kind of silly that it says that you can do that, right? There's no law stopping drivers.
Yeah,
from taking photographs.
It says there's no law stopping them. This is because doing any of these things are not classed as interactive communication, which is the definition of the offence. So it's basically a loophole that says, oh no, I know I knocked that person over, but I wasn't talking on the phone. I was playing a game. How does that make sense?
Makes no sense at all. None. Nada.
It's ridiculous.
So that's that as well. so we know that we shouldn't drive and use our mobile phones, and we're not going to be taking pictures unless you stop and park, right? And we're definitely not going to be playing games.
But then you've also got things like sat-nav on your phone, so,
You can use that, I'm sure, but you'd obviously program that beforehand. And then you have the screen there and you have the voice telling you to turn left or turn right.
Yeah, but then it's basically, they're saying things like that. You're not supposed to be looking at the screen on your phone, are you?
Yeah, but you've got the voice that tells you.
Yeah, but sometimes a voice is not enough. You need to see, is it this left
Yeah,
turn or is it
yeah.
the next left turn?
Yeah. Again,
I just
grey area. UK, man. I don't know who's writing these laws and legislations. Next one is UK travellers banned from entering EU after the 1st due to coronavirus.
Well,
so,
that's just common sense.
Yeah, because no one's going anywhere anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Although I know people that are stuck abroad and can't come home, so that I'm sure they can come back, but then you can't travel out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's straightforward. So no, the EU are not letting people into their country, so you've got to check before you travel. Check before you travel, because there is a large list of countries that we can travel to, and obviously countries that we can't, but the EU is out, all right? So here's another one to do with the mobile phone, Lily. Did you see that one?
I did, but it made sense, but then it didn't make sense. So it's basically dependent on your network provider. So some network providers allow you to have free roaming when you travel abroad to the European Union. And as of January the 1st, this is no longer a privilege that we have. I mean, this is great progress, isn't it? We've Brexited and we're losing everything.
Yeah.
That it just doesn't make any sense to me. We're not benefiting at all from leaving the European Union. But anyways, but it says that you could rack up a bill of £45 before you get prompted and ask if you want to spend any more for your roaming charges.
So make sure we're not allowed to travel there anyway, so it don't make no difference, guys. But when we are allowed out, just keeping that in mind, that just to turn your phone off, turn off your data, and then obviously, can you use it in the hotel, like for
with
WhatsApp?
Wi-Fi? You can use
Yeah.
if you connect onto their Wi-Fi, then your data isn't being used. Anytime you're in the 4G, 5G.
I generally take my data off anyway when I travel.
I don't.
Because I use the Wi-Fi. You don't?
No, because I have unlimited data wherever I go, like the European Union.
Right.
So when I went to Spain and things like that, whether I was on the Wi-Fi or whether I was on my 4G, didn't make a difference.
So, now you need to turn that data off. So,
even though EE023 and Vodafone say they're not planning on putting this rule in yet.
So that's okay, that's all right. So if you're on EE or O2 or Vodafone, then, but still, check. It's all a matter of, before you travel these days now, we just check what we're entitled to, what is needed. Even if for the testing, we might have to start doing these things before we travel. They're going to put and pay with more charges coming in for our enjoyment. We've still got to pay through the roof just to go and relax, But so really just a matter of research before travel.
Read the updates, because every now and again you get those annual updates from your phone company or your broadband company, whatever, that say, oh, this is what's changing. Most of the time we just ignore those emails. Okay, whatever. But now we actually do have to make sure we're reading it.
Because you don't want to get to the other side and then have to turn around and come home again. Nothing, I'm sure there's nothing worse than that. So returning to the blue passports, what does that mean for travellers? These new passports?
Much, actually. It's
you can still travel on the burgundy one if you have it, if it's in date. So you don't have to change that straight away.
No.
I got my new blue one. Yeah, so I can travel to Ireland and to England.
No, you can travel to the EU. You don't need a visa. Unless you are going on a trip longer than 90 days, then you need a visa now.
Right.
But if your trip is what's classed as a short-term trip, so anything between a week and whatever, you don't need to
that's
get a visa
then.
for it.
So we can still go into the well, not at the moment because obviously they're not accepting anyone from the UK, but
you can travel freely.
So
more or less,
nothing's kind of changed there unless it's like a longer business trip.
Yeah.
Or if you've got a property out there and you want to go and stay.
Yes.
Then that changes everything. And copyright laws as well have changed. Now, I'm not sure if you know much about copyright laws out there, beautiful people.
Really?
Because a lot of us, I uploaded a video actually, no I shouldn't do it really, but put some music in it and they ban this is why on our replays you won't have music. When you replay the show, say from tonight on YouTube, I have to take all of the music out. Otherwise you get like copyright claims and it's more hassle. So we just upload like a small section and then that's it. Otherwise they block the videos. So that's where the copyright comes in. Right. And also health insurance, the health insurance card. You said you got one of these.
No.
Oh, you didn't have one?
I don't have one. Uncle has one. I think he has one.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter now because they're invalid. The blue European health insurance cards are expiring as of the 31st of December. Before you could go to Italy or Portugal or wherever, and you would be entitled to free healthcare. Whereas now you need to make sure you have your insurance, whether it's through your bank, you need to confirm it through your bank, make sure that they cover your health conditions, because that card, it would cover you even if you had underlying health conditions, whereas with your travel insurance now, some companies don't, if you have pre-existing, they won't cover you. But I know that's us going there. One thing I've always found very interesting, especially working in the health sector, is that when people come here, we just let everyone through the door.
But they still have to pay.
No, they don't.
You sure?
They're supposed to, yeah. But the people that are on opinion, people that are on the desk, like for example at A&E, can't be bothered to fill in the paperwork, so that person will get free healthcare.
Wow. Well, you know they're more thorough in the EU.
Exactly.
They don't mug about.
But we've left the EU now, so are we going to start being more thorough here?
Because we'll see.
You know,
the UK is we live here. We live here, and we just have to kind of comply to regulations and things that they ask of us, whether it makes no sense or is nonsense or we just have to kind of comply. And those laws that we've just kind of spoken about, check them out. They're on the gov.gov website, and there's one more. Well, there is one more, and that's about trade. May be complicated. So if you are a business person, and I was looking at my Amazon, and if you pay VAT, or if you send things abroad, then there will be charges that are incurred. So make sure that you check out really things about your custom duty, VAT, and all these things that will be on your products. They will be added on, or I think it's Amazon. If you have a business that kind of have products that go through Amazon, that they will take VAT and all those things as well.
I'm
out
really
of what you're doing.
Trying to understand what the benefit of Brexit was.
I have no idea. I'm sure it will become more apparent as time goes on.
No, it will not.
I remember in the 80s we were fighting to get into the European Union, and now we were fighting to get out again. It just didn't make no sense. As
a small island that we are, yeah. Because as well, we've got to realise that it's not Scotland, it's not the United Kingdom that's come out of it, it's England.
Yeah.
What do we have to offer the rest of the world that makes us think that we can just, oh no, we don't need you no more, bye-bye. Okay, well, we'll give up our free roaming, we'll give up our healthcare in your countries, we'll give up all of this stuff. What are we getting for it?
Joy's asked, do we need a visa for Ireland? No, Joy.
No, we
We
don't.
can still go to Ireland. Although Ireland, they are still part of the European Union.
Yeah, so in
Because-
Scotland.
Yeah, because they use the euro. They converted to euro. Scotland has its own currency. So we don't need a visa to go to Ireland, but Ireland's still part of the European Union. England, I think we're going to suffer. Does anyone out there know the reasons as to why we did go into this whole Brexit situation?
I know the reasons why.
What are the reasons why, Lily? Because I really don't know.
Disclaimer again, this is my opinion. A lot of ignorant people heard Europeans and people that ain't British. I was like, yeah, let's vote Brexit. And I know this because I work with some of them. That was their reasoning behind it. No one, in my opinion, again, disclaimer, did enough research to actually see what we may get out of this whole distancing thing. And when you looked at the statistics of people that actually voted to leave, it was not people of my generation. It was an older generation.
More middle class kind of.
Yeah. And
it's a bit like the the Windrush situation.
yeah.
That all the West Indians. Well, we were here a long time before the World Wars. We were here, but they gave a call out to the West Indies for servicemen and people to come after the war to help fix up the country. Everything was done, and then we had this whole Windrush scandal. Do you remember? They were trying to send people home. However, COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then they was like asking all, because a lot of the people that
Everyone to come
came
back.
were nurses, were doctors, all those Cuban doctors that came out, remember, to help. I think it was in Italy. All black doctors, right? So they shoot themselves in the foot.
But this is what I'm saying, of the people that we work with that do some of the jobs that I wouldn't do the job. I'm not doing the job, I wouldn't do the job. I'm born in this country, whatever. What makes you think, now you've sent everybody back and said, no, we're making it difficult for you to work here and live here. Like, I used to work with a gentleman that's gone back home now. He's from a European country. Amazing nurse. Really, really lovely guy. He's gone home. We are going to lose a lot of those kind of people. We have lost a lot of those kind of people. Who's going to replace them? Now that you've got to pay $9,000 to go to uni to do nursing anyway. Okay, they've got the apprenticeship now, but it's still not a nursing apprenticeship. It's a nursing associate apprenticeship. And then you've got other jobs that people will look down on and be like, nah, I wouldn't do that. Well, if you're not going to do it, and we've sent everybody else home that would have done it,
10 years, 20 years time, we'll be back in the EU, guys.
oh dear.
Not even that, because I don't think the deal has actually gone through yet.
No, we're Brexited, man. We're Brexit. We're just done.
We're gone. Right, well, watch this space, because they may well change their mind. Was that Jones XO says, of course Scotland has left the EU. They aren't independent, and they wanted to stay and were ignored. Oh no, they ignored. Well, Scotland were ignored as well. They have left.
They have left.
Yeah, Ireland are still hanging on in there. I don't know about Wales, if they even. No one's mentioning Wales.
Even on the island that we're living on, it's so fractured. This what doesn't make sense to me.
And it's so small at the same time as well. I know.
And what do we produce? I don't
Potatoes.
even think no, it's not Irish.
Irish potatoes.
What do we produce on England?
Right, we are out. Joy McKay says we're out. What do we actually? We have
Strawberries, maybe?
Yeah, it's more business than e-commerce. I think that is associated with the UK. It's more business centre. But, like I said last time, guys, collect your seeds, collect your things, because we don't know what has hit us yet. We really, seriously do not know what has hit us.
I might move to Ireland.
Your thoughts, you move to Ireland, is still going to come up against the same issues. Like, we're still on, that's an even smaller island than England.
I'll be able to travel freely to the European Union and get a blue health card.
It's not even something to laugh about, really, but it is comical, isn't it, to think.
I don't know what it means. I just go with this.
And even more so, guys, we know that we are clunk down again into this new lockdown, and we will be back with you, and we're going to look at it a little bit more. So if you have any points that you'd like to discuss, give us a shout now. 07895 134 713. That's 07895 134 713. Saturday Love by Sherelle. And I'm sure it was, I can't remember who else done that with her, but I can only see the first.
Oh my God.
Okay, so breaking news here. A friend of mine has just sent something through just highlighting about WikiLeaks and how they've all dumped their files online. So everything from Hillary Clinton's emails to the McCanns being guilty, the Vegas shootings, FBI snooper, Steve Jobs, HIV letter. Oh well, there's lots and lots of different things there. So if you are interested in there, it's filewikileaks.org. Check that out. Just breaking news there. She says that please share this news with as many people as possible. It's disclosure time, and maybe that might be a reason why there's so much smoke screens that are going on today. What do you think, Lily?
I don't like conspiracy theories, so I don't know.
You don't like conspiracy theories?
No.
Okay.
I don't like to think that I'm being manipulated, so I just play ignorant, if I'm honest.
Or do the research.
Yeah.
It's so important. Like we say when we speak on this show, that it's our opinion. We will see something, we will let you know about it, but then it's down to us as individuals to go on, dig a little deeper, and do the research on whatever it is that we find.
I mean, I know a lot of people think that this dreaded C word is a smokescreen, but seeing the carnage that is coming out of whatever this is, I don't know, I think at the moment I'm a bit more pro staying in my house. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the first time we had lockdown, I wasn't really. I don't know what the words to use. Like, we went on lockdown because we went on lockdown. That's just what I felt. Whereas this time round, it's just all a bit out of control. And I feel like as much as may have caused this to be a smokescreen, it's out of control. Whether it's the flu, whether it's a virus, whatever on earth it is, they haven't got any control of it, even though they're trying to make us think they have. And being at the other end of seeing the outcome of what this situation is causing for people, this time around I'm a bit more apprehensive about it, a bit more on edge.
We just have to be vigilant. At the end of the day, we just have to be vigilant. And again, I know that people are coming down with something.
Yeah.
However, just be mindful. We always say that about being mindful. And if we've got to comply, we can't go anywhere anyway. Everything's closed. So yes, go out and do your walk for the day and utilise the time yet again. I know it is very frustrating. However, there's nothing much really that we can do about it, because if they've said that we have to be this certain way, then what can we do? Yeah.
And I think for me, it was this morning when I was going into work, and before coming out of the station, I didn't see police as soon as I got off my train.
What does that mean?
Literally, like as soon as I got off the train and went on the escalators, there's a whole line of police standing there, ready to catch whoever shouldn't be doing what they shouldn't be doing. And that for me, I mean, you know me, I'm a very anxiety-prone person. I don't really want to see that when I'm going into work first thing in the morning, because then that's now prepping my...
It's like they're putting the fear into you, isn't it?
Yeah.
And fear, guys, fear is just something that it holds us back.
Yeah, it does.
All right, so that fear, try your best to kind of set that aside and just still progress forwards. Fear is something that holds a lot of us back. All right, just shouting out to Jayla and Janae. How are you guys doing? You behaving? You are behaving because I can't hear you. All right. So yeah. So with the fact that we are going into lockdown again, on the Gov UK website, there are the do's and don'ts of whatever it is that we are under at this time, you know. And as of from yesterday, they were saying that they had something like 26,626 COVID patients in hospitals. Is your hospital overrun?
Yeah, it is.
It is. So
from what I gathered, there was someone said to me a couple of days ago, you know, before they had everyone on oxygen and things like that, and it was manageable. Whereas this time round, there are so many people on oxygen, it's affecting the pressure in the supply tanks or whatever they're called.
wow.
So there is more pressure. Whether that is just solely COVID patients, I don't know. But it is much worse than it was the first time round. Much worse.
There you go. So if that's the case, as of today, we know that all schools were closed and that we should only shop for our basic necessities. Okay, and if we have parents that are vulnerable, to get out and get their necessities as well. Also, it highlights about going to work for people that have to go to work, and also voluntary and charitable services. So I guess we'll go back to a lot of I think vulnerable students are allowed to go into school as well.
Yeah, so children of key workers and vulnerable students are allowed to go in. I know some schools opened on Monday.
Yeah.
And then got told yesterday, oh, we know you opened on Monday, but you've got to close now as of tomorrow. And that put a lot of parents in a difficult situation. But yeah, children are back to online learning. But someone sent me something today about the fact that now they've put a lot of children back at home. The government have put something in place whereby they're giving people access to laptops, children access to laptops and iPads, but it's through the school. So if the family at home doesn't have a laptop or a tablet, or there's just one in the home, and say for example the parents working from home or whatever, they can go to the school and say we need this, and the school can then apply to the government for.
Then they have because when I went to pick up Jayla today, there was a mum there, and she's like, oh, I've just come to pick up the package for my child, so you know they've got the paperwork for the child. And I said, have you asked them if they've got computers, because they should have computers. And so she goes, oh really? But she'd gone out and bought a laptop already. However, when we asked behind, they have ordered a load of computers in for the students.
Okay, good.
But because she bought it already, she thought, oh, can she get the money back for that one? No, you can't, but at least her child is provided for. But the provision is there for students. When approach the schools, guys, if you've got children in schools, approach the schools and say, that's if you don't have the necessary resources, approach them and say, all right, is there a computer here for my child so that we can learn remotely? Because a lot of youngsters that went back into school after the first section of the pandemic, a lot of them had backtracked, so they'd done not enough learning, that they were starting from scratch again. So ask the schools for the necessary resources, and even if you don't have things like paper and stuff, ask the school. They should provide that, really. They should be provided. So that's one heads up there. Thank you, Michelle, for that. My friend Michelle sent me that earlier on today. So
because one thing they did this time round that they didn't do the last time round, I didn't really have any virtual communication with the school the last time round. This time where things are on Zoom, so they're meeting at least once a day for all the students to see each other, and then the teachers to give them updates and things like that. And I think for some parents it is very challenging to do the work at home with the children. You might be working at home, and then now you've got to do your work and your child's work, and it's a lot. you know, so some parents do need that additional support when it comes to the virtual side of the learning, and they are I think this time they're making a bit more, or I'm hoping they're making a bit more of an effort this time round.
I also approached the headmistress today and said, because I just, you know, things come up in my head sometimes, I said to her, what about getting parents, because we can have not little bubbles like meeting out in public, you can, but even bubbles on WhatsApp. So I think you can have up to 4. She said she'll send out a newsletter, ask the parents if they're interested, and then we can start something with that, because then at least you can have little learning bubbles. So if there is a Turkish parent that can't speak English, within that learning bubble there might be a parent that can help, and then because you have the resources, then at least the children can learn together. So that's, if you can speak to your headmistress, your headmasters or whatever, try and get those little groups together. Even if you do get them on technology, it's better than having no interaction at all. So Joy says, I hope this time they do keep their promise. Well, I know that the school here, that they have ordered some laptops and stuff for the youngsters, so let's hope that carries on. It says meet your support bubble or childcare bubble, so there's still that support care or childcare bubble. But
that is only for certain groups of people, so you have to do research into that, because it's not like childcare bubble is, for example, that one person that's looking after your child, fine, but it's not my family then going and mixing with my childcare bubble's family. So it is it's pretty much the same as last time. But there is also, if you've got one child that needs support from another family and they have to have that interaction, then I think there's a little bit of a crossover there as well. So the early learning centres are open, but it also says the government is also advising the clinically extremely vulnerable to begin shielding. And letters will be sent out. So letters will be, and all non-essential retail, hospitality and personal care services must close and remain closed. Restaurants can continue to deliver takeaway or click out and collect of food and non-alcoholic drinks, but venues can no longer serve takeaways or click and collect. I thought click and collect was finished, was stopped. For food here, it says you can continue delivery, takeaway or click and collect, but not from venues. And does that mean that shops now are stopping click and collect? It says all essential retail, hospitality and personal care, they close. Restaurants can continue delivery. No, but I mean, like, for example, my hair shop is open. Right. But for click and collect. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. Oh my goodness, Lily. I shouldn't laugh. But do you know what it was? It's the first time we went on lockdown, there was no loophole, everybody just had to close their doors. And then this time round, we went on that mini lockdown. But then Mr. Boris said, but people can stay open for click and collect. And someone said to me, oh no, the hair shops are open, but they might be for click and collect. I'm like, well, how do you do a click and collect at a hair shop? They have a mobile number at the front of the shop. All those shops are closed. You call and you can collect your hair. Only essential shops and the garden centre. I don't know how the garden centre is essential, but essential shops. For you, Lily, I know that's... No, I'm not saying my hair shop's essential. I'm just saying it was open at that time for click and collect, which I thought was quite humorous. Well, those places are closed. It says playgrounds may also reopen. Right, so the playgrounds will be open. It makes no sense really, does it? Because last time they was gated. Places of worship can remain open, but you can only visit with your household. Yeah, so like if you go and pray, just you can go pray and then leave. Wow. Indoor and outdoor sports facilities, including sports courts, gyms, golf courses, swimming pools, and riding arenas must also close. But elite sports. That's the kicker. That's the kicker for me. Elite sports and disabled sports can continue. What's an elite sport? Polo? Yes, and fencing. No, this is out of order. No, it just means that you just need to take up fencing.
No, but it means, again, the divide. It's a bit like the shooting, do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
The pods.
Yeah.
So, but disabled sports can continue as well. And these restrictions come into effect as of tomorrow.
Tonight, midnight.
Well, tonight. Or Wednesday. Is it Wednesday the 6th?
I mean, he's given us a day to just prepare mentally for lockdown, and then, it's actually just, I'm over it now.
We are, but we're in it, and there's nothing much that we can do about it. Lily, it's 7:32 on the 5th of January. And time, again, is running very, very fast. We've gone through a few things today regarding, that lawyer, that subject that she wants. She's very successful. She wants a fellow, and we realise that having relationships, intimacy, friendship, and what's the other section of that? That's a reason for wanting
and
physical, emotional, and spiritual on that level.
Yeah.
So gardens equal fitness. Okay, Joy, I get you. Shooting. So they've gone back to the shooting in the sense of those elite sports.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So yes, we are again in this lockdown possibly till the middle of February.
Yeah.
It's looking likely. So
I think it's going to go into March, if I'm honest.
that will be a whole year.
Yep.
That'll be a whole year.
Because you've got to think, we've got a backlog. So this spike is from like November, beginning of December time. We haven't even come to the Christmas period of spikes.
Wow.
Because
a lot of people would have been out.
People were having New Year's Eve parties.
Wow.
So we haven't even gotten to that. We're like almost 6 weeks behind.
Well, beautiful people, we can only just be safe, whatever that means, being safe, and comply, because I don't know if they'll be fining people. Did they fine people before?
They did, yeah. But then they said that a lot of people were incorrectly fined and criminalised.
This is another thing that we're going to be covering on the station, beautiful people, is your rights as a civilian, our rights as civilians living in this country. That's something, but we're going to have a special guest on when we do cover that topic, because again, it is our civil right to go out and be out and do certain things in life, and I feel that we are being confined unnecessarily. Like you say, those masks don't even work, Lige.
I know, and which is why I understand why there is that need for the lockdown, but I also think that people are being very selfish in the sense that we've got vulnerable family members, and I would hate to think that someone will go and do work in her house or their house, go into work with symptoms because they need to work, because they've been told to go into work, and then make my vulnerable family member ill. And that gets me quite frustrated, because I know even if we're saying, oh, well, it's just the flu, okay, fine, but some people die from the flu. I know people every year die from the flu, but it's a bit more of a, we've got to accept and acknowledge that it's a bit more than just the flu, isn't it? And it's not just that, it's a bit more, do you know what I mean? And I think, I don't like the fact that my husband is still working in people's houses. That really frustrates me. Because then if he gets, someone says, he goes and asks, like, no, none of us is shielding, we're all fine. And then he gets sick and brings it home into my house, and then my house, I've got to go to work, and I've got childcare, and boom, boom, boom. It's just a knock-on effect.
Yeah.
So I just, it's very, very frustrating, and it's not nice to have our human rights just ripped from our bosoms, because that's basically what's happening. No one has the right to tell you to stay in your home. You have free will and freedom of movement, but somehow they are managing to do that because You don't follow the rules first.
Yeah, but what this has taught me is that they can just take your rights away from you just like that, and have you confined in your house, and you have to comply with what's being said.
Yeah, but we've seen that in the last couple of years. Look at Windrush. Look at the Windrush scandal. We asked you to come here. I know you were born in this. Your children are born in this country. Yeah. No, I'm sending them back to whatever country I think that they come from. That's rights ripped from you. That's them saying we can do what we want.
Exactly.
But COVID hasn't taught us that. Loads of things have taught us that over the last couple of years. It's just blatantly affecting everybody now, which is why a certain type of people is speaking out about it, because now it affects them.
Yeah. Well, beautiful people. I don't know what's. My brain cell map is going, guys. What are we saying about Think and Grow Rich? What's Earl Nightingale telling us today, really?
I don't know. Help me with a song and we'll come back and refresh with some Think and Grow Rich knowledge.
Okay then, we'll see you in 5. That was a bit of Alexander O'Neill there for you. Never knew love like this. And yes, Lily, so what does Earl Nightingale have to say to us? You know that we're going through Think and Grow Rich. We're not going it like sort of through chapter and chapter. We're really highlighting some of the principles laid out in this great book. Encourage you to read it on how to think and grow rich. So Lily, take it away, darling.
So I think today we've imparted a lot of knowledge and wisdom. I'd like to say wisdom. So I think the 9th step towards riches is power of the mastermind. And there's 3 points. It's infinite intelligence, accumulated experience, and experiment and research. So infinite intelligence is a source of knowledge that may be contracted through the procedure described in previous chapters, but the one on creative imagination.
Yeah. And
then accumulated experience is the experience that may be found in like the library, and it says an important part of this accumulated experience is taught in the public schools and colleges where it has been classified and organised. So things that you'd learn from education. But this one I thought was interesting. Experiment and research. In this field of science in the field of science and in practically every other walk of life, men are gathering, classifying and organising new facts daily. This is the source to which one must turn when knowledge is not available. Through accumulated experience, here too the creative imagination must often be used. So we've spoken a lot today about Brexit, we've spoken today about lockdown, COVID, that kind of thing. We have our opinion here on this show, so we would say what we think, what we feel, how we're affected and how we think others may be affected. But we are still talking about topics that are readily in the news at the moment. Yeah. They're being pushed at us. How often do people go off and do their own research on certain topics?
So
how
important.
Often do they think, what you covered today on domestic violence, for example, do people go away and read the statistics and go and look up that knowledge for themselves? And knowledge is wealth.
Yeah.
It's what you do with the knowledge that can be so beneficial to you, to the next person that you relay that information to. And we've been given a lot of pointers today from others who have given us information like the laptops and the breaking news. So someone else has shared that knowledge with us today, and we've been able to share that knowledge with our listeners, our family, and in all flavors land. So people master the mind. Power is mastering the mind. So we have to go and do our research, get that knowledge, and share.
That's right, Lily, because it's not all about just my brain's not working tonight, guys. It is about learning things, but it's not just taking things at face value. So we could be telling you anything. We could be just making up anything on Brexit. We could be making up these 8 laws, these new 8 laws. We could be making up whatever, telling you anything falsified. And this, again, is a lot of the stuff that comes through maybe through WhatsApp. All this stuff, people sending us things on a constant. So by us going and digging a little deeper, I found lots of stuff, even in regards to the vaccine, like what it's made up of. They use lots of terminology that you can't just say, oh, basic this, it has a active substance.
Yeah.
You've got to ask the next question, well, what is that active substance? And what is that active and the name of it? So what does this name mean? Break the name down and work things out in order to really dig deeply to have a proper, clarified understanding of the subject.
Yeah.
So likewise with any of us, if we learn something, you're so right, it is masterminding what we're learning, but then going on and teaching other people in turn, each one teach one.
Yeah.
We've heard that terminology so many times, but it's very, very true.
Just that simple little information about travelling abroad and having your data on, and knowing that actually now we're not part of the European Union, I don't have that free roaming privilege.
Yeah.
Does my network provider actually charge me now for having my data on? You need to go and do that research, because we've given you what we know.
Yeah.
The basic line is, okay, we don't have data roaming freedom anymore, but actually some companies are still offering it, but you have to go off and see if your network provider is that company that's still offering it.
So do your research even before leaving, before you book a ticket.
Yeah.
You do your research so you don't lose your money.
Yeah.
And that is it in a nutshell. Whatever steps we're going to make, there's a scripture. It says, before a man builds a tower, he calculates the cost.
Yeah.
And that's the same with anything that we do. Before we venture into something, we calculate, well, can I have consistency in this? Can I maintain what I'm doing? Can I? What are the effects going to be? You ask yourself many questions. What, where, why, when, how? Or why? Oh, no, I said why before, and then we act accordingly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we will end up down that lovely rabbit hole that we're always speaking about.
And it's funny because we've had a bereavement in the family, and we're going to go abroad to go to the funeral, and we got sent the information, and generally I'm quite bad. I don't read things. I just skim. But after reading about half a page, I was like, nah, it's not possible. And that's just from that one time saying, do you know what, let me actually take, because it does make a difference between, am I going to have to come back from work and do this? Is work even going to let me go? Just steps that have to be taken, that now unfortunately we do have to take to be able to have a little bit of freedom.
Yeah, so check out whatever it is that we are contemplating. Think about it first, calculate the cost, and then act accordingly. So lots of information. We did have a question come in this week, and I think we'll cover it next time, about child maintenance.
Yes.
So it's a very important question, and we are going to look at child maintenance. I think the question was, should a man have to pay? First was, should a man have to pay if they're not able to see their child? That was one. But also, should a woman take everything? Because we were looking at Kayleigh and how she's asked for quite a lot of child support from NAS, as well as DMX, who's got 9 women
and
15 children and paying something like 50,000 in child support. So we're going to kind of look at these areas. And guys, if you do have any questions, please feel free to send them in to us. We'll do a bit of research, as we just spoke of there, and then we will keep you informed as to what the guideline is, I guess, or the law around it is, and what your rights are as an individual.
Yeah.
So 5th of January 2021, and it's our first show of the year. And we've had a lovely time with you all out there. Thank you so much for your company. Great stuff, presenters on Allflavasradio, and thank you for giving us, I say this all the time, giving us a platform to have our say and for you to join in on the conversation. So whatever you're doing, beautiful people, be safe, be mindful, do your research, and we will see you on the other side. Take care.